Part 107. Become a disciple of Taoist priest for us. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1074. A beautiful and charming woman wearing a gorgeous black robe, with a golden headband in her hair, but she was furious at the moment, came quickly. When the Azura warriors guarding her on both sides saw her, no one dared to step forward to stop her. He walked straight into the main hall and saw not far away, a middle-aged man wearing a dark purple robe, long hair shawl, a Chinese character face, a short beard on his chin, and a majestic temperament. Bo Suan. The man turned his head and frowned. Why is my concubine here? The woman came over angrily. If I don't come back, wouldn't Yanda be killed by you? I don't understand. Why are you so cruel that you can even send your own son to prison? A look of headache appeared on Bo Suan's face. Although he had long known that his wife would not let it go after he imprisoned his only son Yanda in the black prison of Blood Sea, but when the real thing came to pass, it was still difficult to resist. It's ridiculous to think that he, the heavenly demon king Bo Suan, is the most powerful Hunyuan warrior in the Sea of Blood, second only to his master ancestor Styx, and he keeps the entire Azura clan in good order. Even the most murderous Azura warrior is as good as a cat in his hands. There is nothing you can do about your wife and children. Do you know why I put Yanda in prison? Of course. Isn't it just that Yanda fell in love with a few female cultivators from the human race and accidentally killed them? What's there to make such a fuss about? Really, those two-legged sheep really don't know how to praise them. With our Yanda status, marrying them as concubines is just to praise them. Tianfei Wu Mo looked disdainful. Seeing her like this, Bo Suan's anger was also building up. Bastard, are those female cultivators? Behind them stands Chongshan Academy. And that little brat actually stole my Shura order, mobilized an army, and killed the Chongshan Golden Guards of Chongshan Academy. He was provoking the two factions are fighting. The private thief Shura Ling caused great trouble to the Blood Sea because of his own selfishness. If I hadn't cared about him being my son, I would have killed him long ago. How dare you? Wu Mo was furious. I don't care about Chongshan Academy. If you don't release my son, I will go to my father and ask him to remove you from your title of Azura Demon King and take back your power to be in charge of the Azura clan. You. Bo Suan pointed at Tianfei Wu Mo with anger on his face. It's simply unreasonable. The latter showed no signs of weakness and slapped away Bo Suan's finger that was about to poke his face, looking domineering. Let it go, or not. Bo Suan took a deep breath. My master had a daughter from time to time, and I wanted to pamper her very much. If he hadn't been his eldest disciple and had a beautiful woman in his arms, he might not have become the demon king in charge of the Azura clan. Over the years, thanks to the luck support of the Azura clan, I have been able to survive the catastrophe and break through to the Hunyuan realm. Therefore, he never wants to lose the power to control the Azura clan. In comparison, although Chongshan Academy has amazing strength, its foundation is shallow and cannot compare to Blood Sea. If there is a battle between the two sides, with Ancestor Styx in charge, his side will definitely win. The only difference is how many people are lost. However, this has little to do with him. Imprisoning Yanda, the attitude has been given. No one else can say anything. In the end, it was not himself who got into trouble, but Tianfei Wu Mo. If the teacher doesn't deal with his daughter, why should he be exempted from the title of Demon King? Bo Sun Gong, who has long considered the pros and cons, wants to follow the good path and release Yanda the Azura warrior who was on guard outside hurried in. See Demon King and Heavenly Concubine. Glyu Demon, is something wrong? Bo Suan asked. Replying to the Demon King, the guards at the Yingbin building summoned the 7 Deluo Golden Immortals from Chongshan Academy to ask for an audience. Bo Suan's face changed slightly. 7 Deluo Jinxian, this lineup is not something that a small family can come up with. Although Tianfei Wu Mo felt sorry for her son, she was not stupid either. She was also a little surprised by the weight of the 7 Deluo golden immortals. Trouble finally came. Bosun's side. What are you afraid of? Isn't it the great Luo Jingxian? Our Shura clan has many of them. Having said that, my confidence is quite lacking. If you can send 7 Deluo Jingxian to your home to investigate the crime, there will definitely be more to come. Seeing how stubborn she was, Bosun shook his head inwardly. Turn around. Send the order to bring people to the Azura Hall. Yes. The Azura guard named Glue Demon quickly walked out. Sighed. I'm afraid what happened today can't be rectified. What are you afraid of? In the worst case, we will destroy them. It's just a Chongshan Academy. That's my opponent of the Blood Sea Shura clan. There was a pause. By the way, let your son out first. Bosun snorted and threw a blood-red token to her. Go on your own. After getting the Shura order, Tianfei Wu Mo looked happy instantly. However, if Yan Da's temper is not tempered, if he provokes the Sand King, the second sage of the West, or Nuwa's disciples in the future, even the master will not be able to protect him. After saying that, Bosun turned and left. Watching his leaving figure, Tianfei Wumo's smile instantly froze on her face. She knew very well what kind of character her son was. It's not an exaggeration to say lustful as life. When he meets a beautiful woman he likes, he doesn't care about her background. If that day comes, although the Blood Sea is powerful, it can only be wiped out with a snap of the fingers in front of the 6 saints. Looking at the blood-red Shura token in his hand, Tianfei Wu Mo showed a rare hesitation on his face. Although the Black Prison is dangerous, it will not kill the Azuras. How about letting Yanda stay inside for a while first? As soon as this idea came up, it was quickly suppressed by my motherly nature. The light flashed and flew straight towards the Black Prison. How could her son suffer such a crime? If there comes a day when he really offends the Sand King, then he can drag the Shura tribe along with him to be buried with him. The world is big and my son is the biggest. Here Bosun also came to Shura Hall. Sitting high on a throne carved from blood jade, wearing a gorgeous purple robe and a golden crown on his head, with a majestic and solemn aura, he is indeed the supreme demon king in charge of billions of Azuras. Not long after, Nanshan Kun and the other 7 people were brought in by the Shura warriors. Both sides looked at each other. Azura Demon King Bosun has a vast and powerful natural aura, exuding a coercion unique to Hunyuan monks. As for Nanshan Kun and the other 7 people, their auras were calm and thick. Each of them seemed to have gone through thousands of tempers, and it was obvious that their foundations were extremely solid. Even compared to the disciples of the saint, it is not inferior at all. Especially the leader, Nanshan Kun, has the perfect cultivation level of Deluo Jingxian and is extremely solid. Among the Shura clan, there are not many elite disciples with deep roots and hopes of Hunyuan in the future. Give him a bow. Nanshan Kun, the deacon of Chongshan Academy, has met the Azura Demon King. Bosun's heart moved. He had learned about Chongshan Academy since his son killed 2 groups of Chongshan disciples. Knowing that this sect relied on formations to defeat 2 great witches of the Hunyuan celestial immortal level. His ancestor, Chongshan Zhenjunsu Junming, has always been speculated to be a Hunyuan monk, but there are very few, and no one has even seen him take action, so no one knows whether he is a Hunyuan monk. However, looking at the cultivation of Chongshan disciples, it is very likely that true Lord Chongshan is a Hunyuan monk. But Bosun felt that the other party's cultivation level was definitely not as good as that of the ancient Metamorphosis, the ancient enlightened mentor ancestor Ming He. Therefore, the strength of Chongshan Academy is not as good as that of Blood Sea. But the opponent's strength cannot be ignored, and he does not want to conflict with the opponent unless it is absolutely necessary. I have also heard of Deacon Nanshan's name. Please sit down. Thank you. After the 7 people sat down, the Azura maid in charge brought tea. As a major sect spread in ancient times, with the accumulation of dozens of yuanhui, there are a lot of good things in the sea of blood. This tea is the rare low-grade Hunyuanling tea, with rich spiritual energy, rich fragrance, and fascinating. But because of the purpose of coming this time, Nanshan Kun and the other 7 people did not dare to drink it. If there is poison in it, you will be in trouble if you drink it. Seeing them not moving, a glimmer of light flashed in Bosun's eyes. Why don't you guys use it? Are you looking down on our blood sea spirit tea? The devil is wrong. I don't dare to despise the wonderful product of the sea of blood, but I am so anxious now that I really have no time to drink it. Oh. I wonder what worries Deacon Nanshan? If possible, I will not hesitate to help. Nanshan Kun took a breath and looked solemn. Does the Demon King know that 2 pairs of 14 disciples from my Chongshan Academy died in a sea of blood? There was a hint of surprise in Bosun's expression. Did Deacon Nanshan make a mistake? I, the Azura clan, respect the teachings of Patriarch Styx and never bleed into the sea for nothing. How could we have anything to do with the disciples of your sect? I'm afraid there is some misunderstanding. I originally thought it was a misunderstanding, but it wasn't. After saying that, he raised his hand and a water mirror instantly appeared in mid-air. The picture in the mirror was a picture of a group of Chongshan disciples wearing blue robes, being surrounded by a large army of Azuras, and finally all died in battle. With a wave of his sleeves, the water mirror disappeared. Seeing this, what does the devil say? Bosun smiled lightly. There are many capable people in the ancient world. It is impossible to say that anyone deliberately fabricated this image, hoping to provoke a war between the Blood Sea and Chongshan, and then make profits behind the scenes. Deacon Nanshan is also a person with profound wisdom, so don't be fooled. Nanshan Kun frowned slightly. Of course his influence was fabricated, otherwise there would be no need to risk one's life, find out the truth and just go to war. Nanshan Kun, who didn't see any clues from Bosun's face, was filled with doubts. Just as he was thinking hard about how to break the situation, a large number of Shura warriors wearing blood-red armor quickly poured in outside the door. Judging from the evil spirits all over their bodies, they are obviously not good people. What does the devil mean? Nanshan Kun said coldly. Bosun also looked angry and was about to yell at these soldiers to get out. A frivolous and arrogant voice came from behind. Father, what are you talking about with these guys? Since they dare to come here to seek revenge, just kill them all. Chongshan Academy is just a small rural sect, is it worthy of being an enemy of my blood? While he was talking, a handsome young man wearing a bloody battle armor, a golden crown on his head, and holding a 3-pointed 2-edged spear walked in. Thanks to book friend David Zoo 201707152124548447 for the 100 starting coin reward. Thank you very much. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1075. Look at the rebellious son, and then look at his wife Wu Mo, who is following him, holding the Shura token in his hand, with a look of doting on his face. Bosun was so angry that he was numb. He now regrets why he lost his mind and gave the Shura order to Wu Mo. It's better now, because the traitor, the last chance to avoid a war between the two sides, has disappeared. After quickly passing through the Genpai spiritual weapon Buzhu cauldron and sending out the message, Nanshan Kun waved his hand, and 6 Chongshan disciples hurriedly came from behind. The 7 people took action at the same time, and a jade talisman around their waists lit up with brilliance. Within a moment, a 7-star formation was formed instantly. With the formation protection, the 7 people will not be defeated individually. Nanshan Kun secretly breathed a sigh of relief and turned his eyes. Did you kill the disciples of our Chongshan Academy? Yanda had a cold smile on his face. Of course. At first, I just fell in love with 2 little girls, and they obeyed me obediently. But I pretended to be noble, which made me furious, and I killed them both. Later, another group of guys from your Chongshan Academy came. Although their strength was good, they were far inferior to our Blood Sea. It didn't take 3 hours before they were wiped out by my Blood Sea army. After a pause, Yanda looked directly at Nanshan Kun with a contemptuous tone. I didn't expect you guys to be so haunted that you actually came to our door again. However, since you are here, let's stay. There are still a few Deludo Jinxian main souls missing on my Shura flag. Nanshan Kun's expression was cold and solemn, and his eyes became sharper with Yanda's words. The magic power in his body exploded instantly, and a sharp sword light pierced Yanda like lightning from the sky. He was angry and used all his strength, reaching the ultimate speed and power. Yanda is the third-generation descendant of the Azura clan. Although he is arrogant, his strength is not bad. Although Deludo's true immortal level cultivation is not as good as that of Nanshan Kun, he is still a top-notch genius among the younger generation. The most important thing is that I have a good grandpa. Clang. A blue-black bead the size of an adult's fist shed heavy light, blocking Nanshan Kun's fierce sword light. Haha, I know you are Deludo Jinxian and yet you come forward to provoke me. How could I not be prepared? Although he said this, the strong concussive force coming from the Nahiji bead still frightened him. You must know that this is a middle-grade Hunyuan Lingbao, and it also contains 9 magic powers left by his father. The blow just now took 3 shots to block. This shows how strong the opponent is. His expression turned cold. Let's see if you can stop me this time. 7-star formation, combination technique. The 7 people made their hand seals at the same time, and the billowing mana burst out dozens of times through the formation. The magic sword in Nanshan Kun's hand soars to the sky, and the powerful sword light is like the scorching sun. Yanda's expression changed drastically and he hurriedly retreated. Bosun also lost his previous composure, and Lightning stepped forward to block his son. Although he wished he could lock this treacherous son in a black prison for tens of millions of years, after all, he was his son and he must not let him die. Nanshan Kun looked solemn and held the magic sword in his hand tightly. This treasure was given by his ancestor when he advanced to Deludo Jinxian. After he became a deacon, his ancestor trained him again. Now it is a medium-grade Hunyuan Lingbao with 5 restrictions. And it is also a powerful killing spirit treasure. Cut. An angry shout. The powerful sword light was like an unrestrained angry dragon, rushing towards Yanda like lightning. Bosun waved his right hand, and a pennant with black edges and a red core, covered with blood, stood in front of Yanda. Boom. A sound like a muffled drum sounded. The sword energy flew away and waves of blood rolled. The powerful aftermath swept across the hall. The Azura warriors who were coming and going were unable to dodge, and were instantly overwhelmed by the disintegrating sword light and blood energy. Although it was just a turbulent flow, they were too close and suffered heavy casualties in an instant. The entire Azura hall trembled. Nanshan Kun was not dazzled by hatred. When he saw Bosun take action, he said quickly. 7-star formation, escape word technique. Among the 7 people, a monk wearing a blue robe threw out a small boat overnight. Obviously, this is a low-grade Hunyuan level spiritual treasure that is good at flying and escaping. Sure enough, a spiritual light erupted from the boat, and after covering the 7 people, it rushed out of the Shura hall like lightning and flew straight over the Blood Sea. Nanshan Kun is not stupid. This is the enemy's lair and there are many restrictions. To fight against others here is to seek death. Moreover, they only came to verify whether Suihai was the murderer of Chongshan disciples, not to seek revenge. Now that the results have been obtained, there is no need to sacrifice here in vain. Want to run? He snorted coldly, waved the Shura flag, and in an instant, endless blood light, like a furious wave, and like lightning, chased after him overwhelmingly. However, the 7 De Luo Jinxian worked together to activate a low-grade Hunyuan Lingbao that was good at flying and escaping, and the speed was extremely fast. Although Shura Suiguang was fast, the flying boat had the first mover advantage and always ran in front. Bosun saw it and was a little surprised by the other party's speed. If we were outside the Sea of Blood, I might as well have escaped from you. But now. He stretched out his hand and made a move, and the Shura token in Tianfei Wumo's hand flew into her palm. Driven by mana, this token that controls the entire Shura Blood Sea formation blooms with infinite divine light. Duh. With a command, the originally turbulent boundless Sea of Blood suddenly became silent, and the already viscous Sea of Blood became 10 million times thicker in an instant. The resistance increased greatly, and the speed of the Fa Zhou inevitably slowed down. Looking at the bloody light getting closer and closer behind him, Nanshan Kun always looked calm. 7-star formation, Shanzihu. Among the 7, a tall monk wearing yellow robes threw out a small mountain with an earthy yellow aura. Buzz. The light surged, and an earth yellow 100-foot high hill instantly blocked the 7 people. The extremely thick earth element spiritual energy brings powerful defense. Unexpectedly, the mighty bloody light did not fight them head-on, but enveloped them directly like a pocket. Nanshan Kun has rich experience. Shuiyu, lazy Iju. A tall young man wearing a purple robe nodded, and with a thought in his heart, a blue drum with an embossed Kui cow pattern suddenly appeared. The rich thunder charm spreads out. The magic power of 7 De Luo Jinxian gathered. Boom! The dazzling lavender divine thunder exploded instantly like a peacock opening its tail. The huge thunder represents the most masculine evil-proofing power in the world. The Sea of Blood represents the evil force between heaven and earth. The collision of yin and yang is naturally like a needle. Along with the loud noise like the creation of the world, billions of miles of Sea of Blood began to churn. The bloody light that caught up inevitably slowed down. Taking this opportunity, the Dharma boat moved upward again. But Bosun is a Hunyuan celestial immortal with powerful magical power, and combined with the Shura flag, it is powerful. He quickly regrouped and gave chase. And it's more powerful this time. Seeing the endless blood light that stretched across hundreds of millions of miles and engulfed the 7 people with the sound of ghosts crying and wolves howling, Nanshan Kun's expression gradually became firm. A jade talisman that had been practiced in the Danshan for many years appeared in the palm of his hand. He knew very well that once he was trapped in the Azura Blood Sea, he would become the meal of Azura Demon King Bosun. Can't wait any longer. If you are determined in your heart, you must sacrifice the jade talisman. Right now. A familiar voice sounded in my ears. Certainly. A powerful law swept across hundreds of millions of miles. But see you. The endless blood below instantly solidified. As far as he looked, everything around him stopped. Subconsciously stopping the Dharma boat, the 7 people looked at the young man in front of him with his hands behind his back, wearing a green robe, a green gourd hanging around his waist, and a golden ring binding his hair, with a faint smile on his face, and their expressions instantly became excited. He quickly flew over and fell to his knees. Nanshan Kun, Shuiyu, pay homage to the ancestor. Waving his sleeves. No need to be polite, just get up. Thank you, Patriarch. 7 people stood up. Grand Master, why are you here? Nanshan Kun asked. Haha, I've seen it all from the time you discussed the Blood Sea in Chongshan Cave to now. Nanshan Kun looked ashamed. This disciple is unworthy of the teachings of the Patriarch and caused the death of 14 of his disciples. Please punish the Patriarch. He waved his hand. It doesn't have to be like this. There are hundreds of millions of disciples under Chongshan section. Even though you are a deacon, how can you manage them all? Moreover, after the incident happened, you were able to analyze it calmly, and you did not hesitate to risk your life and went to the Sea of Blood to find out the truth. nor does he live up to his duties as the 7 deacons of Chongshan. Nanshan Kun breathed a sigh of relief. Ancestor, what happened in the Sea of Blood? Su Junming's expression turned cold. Of course we have to let the Azura clan give us an explanation. Reach out and make a move. Hundreds of Azura warriors, as well as the figures of heavenly concubine Wu Mo, Yanda, and Azura demon king Bo Suan, flew out. Judging from their frightened expressions, but seemingly frozen, it was obvious that they had been sealed by the ancestors' magical power. What they didn't expect was that Azura demon king Bo Suan, whose cultivation had reached the middle stage of Hunyuan celestial immortal, could also be sealed instantly by his ancestor. At this moment, an earth-shattering breath came from the very depths. It was like a giant beast that had been sleeping for a long time and was slowly waking up. That powerful aura, like the overwhelming weight of Mount Tai, made Nanshan Kun and others tremble, and they had no desire to resist at all. Too strong. Su Junming looked calm, stretched out his hand to grab, and the Shura fell into his palm. With a step, he led the 7 Nanshan Kun people to teleport hundreds of millions of feet above the Sea of Blood. Gradually, the fierce evil spirit became stronger and stronger. The Sea of Blood that stretched for hundreds of millions of miles became strangely calm. The next moment, an endless army of Azuras, wearing helmets and armor and holding sharp blades, emerged from the Sea of Blood. The tyrannical evil spirit filled the sky. Immediately afterwards, nearly 100 monks who had reached the level of Deluo Jinxian came out. All the Shura cast spells at the same time, and the blood flew straight into the air. From a distance, it looked like a blood-red carpet, rising directly from the depths of the Sea of Blood to an altitude of hundreds of millions of feet, confronting Su Junming thousands of feet away. At the moment when the blood carpet was successfully deployed, a thick bloody light seemed to change shape and form, reaching the extreme speed and appearing at the end. When the blood light dissipated, a middle-aged man wearing a blood-colored lotus robe, tall and thin, with a thin face, a bloody light in his eyes, and an earth-shattering aura appeared in front of Su Junming. Obviously, he is the Lord of the Blood Sea, the pioneer of Azura, and the ancestor of the Styx among the 3,000 guests of the Xixiao Palace. Thank you to the book friend The Wind Cannot Reward for the reward of 200 starting coins. Thank you very much. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1076. Ancestor Ming. He is indeed worthy of being one of the few powerful men in ancient times, and his cultivation has already entered the realm of Hunyuan Xianxian. However, it can be seen that the foundation is not deep, and the breakthrough obviously does not take long. Putting aside the factor of being able to use the Hongmeng purple qi to leverage the power of heaven, in terms of pure cultivation, except for Hung Jun, there is not much difference between him and several other saints. The reason why he was so sure was because he had used the Dian mirror to look at the 7 saints earlier. The other party's cultivation and treasures cannot be hidden from him at all. When he looked at Ancestor Styx, the latter was also looking at him. Not too tall, he wears a green robe, tied with a gold rope, and has a green gourd hanging on the left side. He has thick eyebrows, big eyes, and a square face, exuding an unworldly indifference and the majesty of being in a position of power for a long time. Her long black hair was raised up by a golden ring and hung casually on the back of her head. His eyes were as deep as a bottomless abyss. The most important thing is that, being so close, Ancestor Styx couldn't feel the other person's cultivation at all. How can this be? Even if it were a saint in person, this would not happen. The only explanation is that the person opposite has a secret method to seal his own energy. Thinking of the powerful sealing power just now, Styx quickly understood. Out of caution, whose name is your excellency? Why do you want to break into my Sea of Blood and arrest my disciples? The poor Taoist Chongshan true monarch Su Junming, why are you here? Haha, if your disciples hadn't killed 14 of my Chongshan sect for no reason, they even planned to kill the 7 great Luo Jingxian who came to inquire about my Chongshan section if we eradicate it, how can the poor come to this filthy place? Opening his left hand, Azura Demon King Bosun, Heavenly Concubine Wu Mo, and Prince Yanda emerged from the palm of his hand. With a thought in his heart, he slightly unlocked the seals on them. "Grandpa, help me, kill this evil thief quickly." Seeing the sticks, Yanda shouted quickly as if he had been saved. When Styx saw his daughter, son-in-law, and grandson, he raised his eyebrows and showed anger in his eyes. But he was very human after all, and he took a slight breath. "I quickly tolerated it. I believe there must be a misunderstanding. Fellow Taoist, can you please come to my Shura hall and sit down first so that you and I can resolve this matter through negotiation, so as to avoid conflicts between the two families and countless deaths and injuries." Su Junming smiled calmly. "Fellow Taoist Styx, do you think I'm easy to bully? In the Shura hall where you have so many restrictions, how can there be any fairness? When the big formation comes together, won't my master and disciple be at your mercy?" Styx felt a pity secretly in his heart, that was indeed what he thought. Of course, he would never admit it. "Fellow Taoist, what you said is wrong. I, Styx, have been practicing for many years and have a great reputation and are respected by hundreds of millions of monks. How could I do such a despicable thing? It is said that a master must have his disciples. Your direct disciples and son-in-law all have this virtue, let alone your master." The merciless sarcasm made Styx's expression darken. If his daughter, son-in-law, and beloved grandson were not still in each other's hands, he would have had an attack long ago. "What do you want?" Su Junming smiled coldly, "Of course the debt must be paid with blood. Grab it with your left hand." "Don't want." Boom. Bosun, Wu Mo, Yanda, and the Shura warriors captured by Su Junming were instantly crushed to pieces by his huge force. The thick blood flew out and turned into a blood mist several feet wide in mid-air, but it quickly rolled back and disappeared into the palm of your hand. Apparently, Su Junming used it to practice the Dushan god demon flag. Ancestor Styx was furious, and his mighty magic power rushed to the 9th level, shaking hundreds of millions of miles. Suddenly the heavens shook. Throughout the prehistoric times, countless monks felt this huge magical power. Being a saint is no exception. "You wanna die?" With a wave of his sleeve, the 7 Nanshan Kun people were brought into Chongshan residence. The momentum is strong, and the black hair is automatic without wind. "Death? Huh, today is the day when you will perish in the sea of blood. It's a shameless talk." With a wave of his big sleeves, the endless waves of blood turned into a force that lifted the sky, and he rushed over with a compelling momentum. Billions of miles of void instantly turned into blood. "It's just a little trick, it's useless." With a movement in his heart, the power of time exploded. Although his figure was clearly visible, he had already placed himself in the future. Therefore, no matter how turbulent the blood wave was, it could not hurt Su Junming even half a cent. The power of time. Ancestor Styx was horrified. He had felt the same aura from Xiaowu Zujuyan, but the other person's way of time was much worse than the person in front of him. "I was a little shocked for a moment. Being able to comprehend the power of time and being able to cultivate to the level of Hunyuan true immortal is obviously not an easy task. Even the power of time cannot be used as my killing sword." He looked hard. The hands are pointing like swords. Choke. The dragon's roar shook the sky. There are 2 sword lights, one red and one black, like a divine dragon crossing the sky. The chilling aura of killing condensed like frost and snow, and in an instant, even the bloody aura that permeated the heaven and earth faded away. "Su Junming, watch me Shura/. Shua." The red and black sword light slashed over like lightning. The speed was so fast that it seemed to span space. The ancestor of Ming He was accompanied by 2 swords, and the illustrious reputations of Yuantu and Abi were known to everyone throughout the ancient world. How could Su Junming be unprepared? With a wave of his hand, a long black flag shed heavy divine light. The strong rime of death pervades all directions. The underworld death flag is something that surpasses the 5 directions flags and can be compared with the Qinqin Ding, Zhongshan Shiji 2, and the 12-rank lotus, and is second only to the existence of the 3 major artifacts, the Pangu flag, the Tai Chi diagram, and the chaos clock. Back in the chaotic boulder, the underworld beast could use it to block the Pantuo divine axe controlled by Su Junming's Pangu real body, which shows how powerful the defense is. Boom boom. 2 10,000-foot-long sword rays, like 2 giant hammers, hit the underworld demon's death flag heavily. The bulging flag surface is constantly dented, and layers of death energy surge up, but it remains strong. Seeing the exploding sword energy and feeling the layers of resistance coming from the blade, the face of Ancestor Styx also changed color. Looking at the long black flags standing in mid-air, with strong black flags and rich charm of death, he had never seen such a treasure. The powerful aura is stronger than his Yuantu and Abi swords. Just when he was shocked, a warning sign emerged from the bottom of his heart. Not good. Subconsciously urging myself to press the treasure at the bottom of the box. A 12th grade bloody lotus rose from Bawi Point, showering it with bloody brilliance. At this moment, a black hole suddenly opened 3 feet behind it. A brilliant sword light, like a dragon emerging from a cave, passed through Patriarch Biming's back before the bloody lotus. The latter's expression froze, and his eyes showed disbelief. Next moment. Boom. The earth-shattering bell rang. The vast power of falling souls sweeps in all directions. The army of Azuras fell from mid-air like dumplings. Immediately afterwards, a purple stream of light flew out from the black space channel, and like lightning, it took away the 12th grade blood lotus that was swinging in the air. At the same time, a black stream of light flew towards Yuan-Tu and Abi swords. The powerful devouring power burst out, and the 2 swords seemed to be frightened. The sharp sword light cut through the devouring power, and the lightning disappeared into the depths of the blood sea below. The purple stream of light fell back into Su Junming's palm and turned into a purple gourd. The black stream of light also turned into a gourd and disappeared in mid-air. Su Junming felt a little regretful. He had taken advantage of Patriarch Styx's contempt and understanding of him to take away the most powerful treasure around him in one fell swoop. At that time, with his strength, he will no longer be his opponent. Unexpectedly, the opponent was stronger than he expected. He broke away from the soul-falling bell that he activated with the divine soul gourd so quickly, and took away Abi Yuantu's swords in advance before he took them away. Looking at the sealing gourd that keeps shaking. Fortunately, this 12-grade blood lotus finally fell into my hands. The 48 innate spiritual taboos are equivalent to the underworld death flag and the Qinqin cauldron. Moreover, as one of the 4 lotus flowers differentiated from the 24th grade chaos green lotus, it has the effect of calming luck. However, these 12th grade blood lotus is not a spiritual treasure of cause and effect, but a spiritual treasure of blood nourished by the blood of countless creatures from the beginning, the ancient times, and the ancient times. Innately contains the law of blood. With a thought in his heart, the sealed gourd fell into his palm and came to Chongshan residence. After the 12th grade blood lotus inside was sealed by Su Junming into the Chongshan residence sealing palace, all resistance disappeared. As the dojo where Su Junming painstakingly practiced, it was blessed by countless treasures and spiritual roots. Even if Pangu banner fell into it, it would still be suppressed. At this moment, in the Lingxiao palace far above the 9 heavens, the look of shock on the face of God Haoshan, who was sitting on the main seat, had just disappeared. The queen mother of Yaokai next to her said in disbelief, "Who is this true monarch of Chongshan? Killed ancestor Ming He with just a few moves. The queen mother is wrong. Patriarch Styx has refined 48,000 blood god sun clones, claiming that the sea of blood never dries up and the Styx river never dies. The one who was just killed by true monarch Chongshan was just one of his blood god sun clones, Haoshan said. There was a pause. However, this is enough to show the high level of cultivation and strong means of true Lord Chongshan. Turned. Fellow immortals, who knows the origin of this true monarch of Chongshan? Taibei Jinxing, wearing a silver grey robe with white beard and hair, stepped out. That's right, this old man has now been thrown into heaven. After becoming a god and the Shinto becomes more prosperous, he will avatar himself and throw himself into thousands of worlds to accumulate Shinto merits for himself, including the earthly and immortal world. As a reminder to the Emperor of Heaven, the founder of the Chongshan Academy of the Buzhu Mountain sect in the lower realm is Chongshan True Lord Su Junming. However, this Su True Lord rarely appears, so his reputation is not known in the ancient world. Looking at his cultivation now, he must be a legacy from the ancient times. Mighty. Haoshan nodded. He has also heard of the reputation of Chongshan Academy. After all, the sect that can defeat the top witches of the Wu clan is not weak. But he never expected that there was such a powerful patriarch behind Chongshan. It seems that I have never seen this person in Zixiao Palace back then, Haoshan thought to himself. The 3,000 guests in Zixiao Palace were actually not just 3,000 people. There were tens of thousands of people listening to the 3 sermons. However, many of them are similar to Randeng Taoist. They have only heard it once or twice, and the number of people who have heard it 3 times is less than 1,000. Thanks to book friend Luo Hua Mochi for the 100 starting coin reward. Thank you very much. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1077. Looking at the turbulent sea of blood below, I felt the powerful consciousness around me that did not shy away. Su Junming smiled lightly and didn't care. Regardless of whether he can kill Patriarch Styx today, he is destined to be exposed in front of everyone. Styx, I know you are not dead, there is no need to hide it. Thousands of feet above the sea of blood, a figure quickly solidified. It was the ancestor of Styx. But compared to the contempt on his face at the beginning, he was now looking at Su Junming with an extremely cautious expression. Yuan Tuabi's 2 swords surrounded him. A Shura flag above his head shed heavy spiritual light, protecting his whole body airtight. Su Junming saw it and didn't find it strange. Based on the experience of Ancestor Minghe, who has practiced fighting skills in dozens of Yuanhui, he only has one chance to take advantage of his ignorance and attack suddenly to kill a powerful enemy and seize the spiritual treasure. Moreover, if he hadn't directly killed Bo Suan, Wu Mo, and Yanda at the beginning, angering Patriarch Styx and making him lose control, he wouldn't have killed him so easily. Now if we take action, it will only rely on the hard power of both sides. However, Su Junming is confident that with his strength, he is no worse than Ancestor Styx. After all, for Hunyuan level monks, Taoism is more important than magic power. And his major in Taoism has already reached the level of Hunyuan Xianxian. I won't be careless this time. Styx said coldly. Really? But if I can kill you once, I can kill you a second time. It's a shameless talk. His hands formed sword points, and the 2 swords of Yuan Tuabi were like 2 rainbows, striking the sky. Wherever it passed, the space split open, and against the rich black space, the originally clear sword light became a little hazy. They looked dark, as if they were hiding at the moment, ready to reveal their sharp fangs at any time. Su Junming waved the underworld death flag. The heavy death energy is like a big wave, connecting the sky and the earth, layer upon layer, rushing away with boundless power. The 2 sword energies were sharp and powerful, and they quickly broke through the first level of death energy, but the second and third levels were layered on top of each other. After being weakened layer by layer, the sword energy was like a trapped fish, unable to move forward anymore. But Ancestor Minghe, who had become serious, shook Yuanta's ABI sword, and layers of sword energy surged toward Su Junming overwhelmingly like a raging wave. At this moment, thousands of swords pierce the sky above the Blood Sea. Billions of miles are filled with sword energy. The mighty sword light cut the space into pieces, and the cracks in the space turned this place into a killing ground for Shura. Even if the Hunyuan celestial immortal comes in, he will be seriously injured if he is not prepared. The battle between the two people, who were really fighting, became more and more fierce. The affected area became wider and wider, hundreds of billions of miles, trillions of miles, 10 trillions of miles, and finally the sky over half of the Blood Sea became a battlefield. The violent sword energy, the domineering death energy, the dragon and the tiger are fighting. Since the Lich War in ancient times, there have been 6 or 7 Yuanhui in the ancient times, and there has never been such a fierce life and death battle. For a time, everyone from the saints of heaven and earth to the younger generation who became immortals paid attention to him. Taking palace in Shaoyang Mountain. Looking at Su Junming fighting fiercely in the water mirror, Master Suandu was not only amazed. He never expected that Su Junming, whom he only met once, would have such strength. He can actually compete with ancestor sticks. You need to know that the latter is a person of the same generation as his teacher. He was born in ancient times, became a Taoist in ancient times, attended Xiao Palace 3 times, and is a veteran strong man who can compete with his teacher for the Holy Throne. Teacher, what kind of treasure is that long black flag in Su Junming's hand? It's actually comparable to the ancestor of the sticks, Yuan to Abi. Saint Taking frowned slightly as he looked at the long flag that was filled with deathly energy as it was waving. I don't know either. But judging from the power of this thing, it's all under the Tai Chi diagram of my master. It's not much worse than the Xian Huang Merit Tower of Heaven and Earth. So strong. Master Suandu was speechless. Saint Taking nodded slowly. In ancient times, he had personally tried the power of the Yuan-2 Abi swords in the hands of sticks. But compared to the long black flag, what surprised him more was Su Junming. I still remember that 3 Yuanhui years ago, when he sealed Su Junming, the opponent's strength was far less than it is now. In just 3 Yuanhui years, he has grown to this point. This person's understanding is so high that it is rare in the world. Thinking of this, a trace of regret arose in my heart. If Su Junming had been admitted as a disciple in the first place, the foundation of his taking lineage will be stable. Such a pity. Boom. Earth-shattering thunder continued one after another. The sound of sword energy and death energy dying was deafening. The vast sea of blood seemed to be overturned by the violent sword energy and death energy. Huge waves tens of thousands of feet flew in all directions one after another. The blood sea azuras trembled under this powerful pressure. Like ants, they will be crushed by the mighty power of heaven at any time. Su Junming waved the long black flag to block the layers of sword energy. Sticks, you are also a powerful person who achieved enlightenment in ancient times. Is this the only way you can do it? Ancestor Sticks looked gloomy. Su Junming, don't be too proud. It was just a warm-up. Really? The main meal is waiting for me. Humph, since you are looking for death, my ancestor will satisfy you. Make quick gestures with both hands. Mo, Luo, kill, sword. A tyrannical killing charm spread out. Yuantu's 2 swords, Abi, changed with a buzz sound. 2 turns into 4, 4 turns into 8, 8 turns into 16. In the blink of an eye, heavy sword shadows hung in the sky like huge pillars. Heavy sword pillars surrounded Su Junming from all sides. A strange aura locked onto Su Junming. The natal magical power combined with the accompanying innate spiritual treasure is indeed extremely powerful. Subconsciously holding the flagpole of the underworld god's flag. The long banner moved automatically without wind, and the heavy death aura dispersed, protecting Su Junming in the middle. Suddenly, Murderous intent prevailed all around. The sword pillars burst out with heavy sword light, shooting up, down, left, and from every possible corner towards Su Junming. Su Junming, who was caught in the fire by thousands of sword lights, poured the magic power in his body into the underworld death banner. The defensive capabilities of this top-notch innate spiritual treasure are still higher than the innate 5-square flag. No matter how much the sword energy knocks me down, I will remain standing still. Feeling the sound like rain hitting plantains, Su Junming quickly activated his rewarding goodness magical power to restore his mana. Although Patriarch Ming He's cultivation level was only in the early stage of Hunyuan Xianxian, he was still Hunyuan Xianxian, and his magic power was far superior to his. Although his Taoism is better, his magic power has taken a step back. Feeling the intensity of the countershock of the underworld death flag, I thought to myself. It seems that the power of Patriarch Styx's natal magical power is not very good. Before the thought came to an end, a warning sign appeared in my heart. He secretly said no. Quickly activate the space cord, and in an instant, endless space barriers protect the whole body. The next moment, a long, dark red needle instantly penetrated the defense of the underworld death flag and flew straight towards Su Junming's back heart. Soon he fell into endless space. With Su Junming's current Hunyuan Suangxian level space cultivation, a single thought can create hundreds of millions of miles of space around him. If you use a space cord, the space inside is as large as nearly 1/10 of the prehistoric world. The prehistoric world is not just a prehistoric continent, but also includes the prehistoric starry sky millions of times larger outside. Therefore, the long dark red needle that fell into it seemed to never fly to the end. Ancestor Styx instantly understood that his fatal blow had failed. Subconsciously, I wanted to take back the treasure. But Su Junming also saw the insidious nature of this long dark red needle, so how could he still get his wish? Actuating the space cord instantly cut off the consciousness of Ancestor Styx. Old Ancestor, this is a good trick. If I had been replaced by a worse one, I would have already suffered from your poisonous needle. Ancestor Styx looked gloomy. The guy opposite was more difficult than he expected. Damn Bosun, why did you provoke such a powerful enemy for my blood? See? After repeated battles and seeing the opponent's tyranny more and more, the idea of victory in Patriarch Styx's heart became weaker and weaker. Qing Palace on Jinao Island. Wearing a green Taoist robe, with a fishing drum hanging on his left waist and a purple electric hammer hanging on his right waist, the Shangqing saint with a sharp aura looked at the scene in the vast water mirror above the palace. Is this person Su Junming, the true lord of Chongshan? Exactly, Taoist Tuobeo nodded, his expression a little complicated. I just didn't expect that this person has such a high level of cultivation that he can actually fight with Ancestor Styx and gain the upper hand. If I had known this, I wouldn't have forced the Chongshan disciples to leave in Huancaiyu. Elder brother, there is no need to worry. Although Su Junming's cultivation is high, it is far inferior to his master's saintly status. Although Chongshan Academy is strong, it is much worse than my Jijiao from 10,000 Immortals. I am offended. It's just offended, it's no big deal. Jing Guangxian, one of the attendant 7 Immortals, said carelessly. What senior brother Jing Guang said is true. In the prehistoric world, the Jijiao sect, is the largest section with the strength of my mentor. I can kill the ancestor Ming He with one move. Chongshan Academy? No matter what it does, Ling Ling Tooth Fairy said. For a time, there was a flood of responders in the hall. Only a few people such as Taoist Tuobeo, Holy Mother Wuodang, Holy Ghost Spirit, Wuangxian, and Yungxiao were really calm and showed a trace of worry. Boom! With the sound of a drum, everyone quickly fell silent. Seeing this, the Tongtian cult leader no longer shook the fishing drum. Turned. Tuobeo. The disciple is here. After this battle, if Su Junming wins, you can go to my Jijiao backyard to pick 9 fire dates and send them to Buzhu Mountain. As commanded. Obviously, the sage of Shangqing intended to turn the war into friendship and resolve the grievances between Shangqing and Chongshan. The master gave the order. Although the disciples were puzzled, they did not dare to ask any more questions. Staring at the two sides fighting in the water mirror, Master Tongtian's eyes flickered. Saints are not invincible beings. If they were to face the real Hunyuan golden immortals, their power would be their own. They would be much stronger than the heavenly Dao saints as they controlled every ounce of mana in their bodies. After all, borrowed power is not as good as the power you master. Therefore, even if the ancient enlightened masters such as Minghe, Zhen Yuanzi, and Kunpeng are not saints, they should be respected as they should be. Because these people still have the possibility of becoming Hunyuan golden immortals. Staring at Su Junming's back. I didn't expect there to be such an incredible person in ancient times. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1078. The iron needle used by Patriarch Styx as a killing move is certainly not a mortal thing. Not only is it tempered with poison, but it is also a top-grade Hunyuan spiritual treasure. Feeling the iron needle coming and going in the space gourd, but always being trapped in the endless space, Su Junming repeated his old trick and sealed it directly into the Kongshanju sealing hall. Ancestor Styx instantly felt that the red shadow needle that he could vaguely sense before had completely lost contact. Obviously, he will end up with the 12th grade Blood Lotus. After losing all his treasures, Styx's expression became more and more gloomy. Ancestor's Shura killing sword is indeed very powerful. However, it would be disrespectful to come back without reciprocating, so I would like to ask my ancestor to taste my swordsmanship. He stretched out his right hand, and a 3-foot 3-inch long, unusually simple bronze sword emerged. An extremely sharp sword energy, which is drawn but not released. Ancestor Styx was rich in experience and instantly felt the extraordinary power of this sword. I couldn't help but feel secretly on guard. Holding the Pangu sword in his hand, he activates the space talisman. Jean Dao, meet me. A powerful sword light shot into the sky. Just like the sun rising in the east, it shines brightly for a long time. The mighty sword light slashed towards Ancestor Minghe like the sky and the earth. Su Junming had already mastered Pangu's 9 axes, and he could use them with a sword. Su Junming's swordsmanship was tyrannical, and his ancestor never showed any weakness. Yuan to Abi rushed forward like 2 bolts of lightning with endless killing intent. Su Junming's azure sword light, with its brilliant majesty and endless royal aura, was striking 10 times. The red sword light and black sword light of the Styx ancestor were like a dead soldier who was full of killing, moving forward indomitably. The 2 completely immobile sword intentions also represent their completely different swordsmanship. Just when the 3 sword energies were about to collide, Su Junming's green sword light suddenly disappeared. Ancestor Minghe was shocked in his heart and quickly activated his natal spiritual treasure Shura flag to protect his whole body. But what made him unbelievable was that the powerful sword light directly broke through the protection of the Shura flag and appeared beside him. This scene not only shocked him, but also shocked countless spectators around him. Impossible. The tone was full of disbelief. Shua. The sword light rushed past. Ancestor Styx died an unexpected death. At the same time, the earth-shattering bell rang, and the powerful soul-destroying bell resounded through the sea of blood for hundreds of millions of miles. Countless sentient beings were shaken away by the sound of the bell and temporarily fainted. A black space channel opened, and a purple gourd lightning flew past. The 2 swords of Yuan to Abi scattered in the air were taken away instantly. When the Shura flag was collected again, it had already been taken away by Ancestor Styx. Su Junming's cultivation of the Soul Dao was worthy of entering the realm of Hunyuan Xianxian. It was almost as different from the killing Dao that Ancestor Minghe majored in. It could shake his soul, but it was completely shaken down. However, sealing the two swords of Yuan to Abi is equivalent to breaking the arm of the ancestor of Ming He. How could he stop his murderous attack with only a Shura flag, a natal spiritual treasure with 7 spiritual taboos? Fortunately, we took away the 12th grade blood lotus first, otherwise the sword just now would have been difficult to perform. The first axe of Pangu's 9 axes, kill the Dao and Simi, in addition to the extremely sharp swordsmanship, the strength of the understanding of the space Dao directly determines its power. Su Junming's understanding of the Dao of space has reached the middle stage of Hunyuan Xianxian. The Shura flag couldn't stop it, but the 12th grade blood lotus, which was equivalent to the best Hunyuan Lingbao, could. Of course, there is no if. Having lost the 12th grade snow lotus and the 2 swords of Yuan to an Abi, the current ancestor of Styx is just a piece of fish on the chopping board, left to be slaughtered. Styx, why, don't you dare to come out. Ancestor Styx appeared above the blood sea again. Compared with the arrogance he showed when they first met, his face was full of fear now, and there was still a trace of fear in his eyes. Su Junming, you have killed Bo Suan, Wu Mo, and Yanda, and the revenge of your Chongshan Academy has been avenged. Return my 4 treasures, and in the future, my blood will not interfere with your Chongshan well. Obviously, Styx was defeated. Su Junming smiled lightly. Who knows that you, the ancestor of Styx, will definitely take revenge. If I stop now, I'm afraid that if you take back your front foot, you will have to fight with me later. Moreover, if I kill your direct disciple, your only daughter and grandson, will you follow me? Well, water does not offend the river. I, Styx, am also an ancient powerful man. I have 3,000 guests in Xixiao Palace and am famous throughout history. How could I do anything contrary to my promise? Haha, I have already established the victory, why should I return the treasure to you? If I kill you, it will be settled once and for all, and it will save me from being vigilant every day, Su Junming said calmly. Kill me? Huh, I admit that in the previous fight, you took advantage of my unpreparedness and gained the upper hand. But I have 43,000 Blood God Sun clones refined by the Blood Sea Styx. The Blood Sea will never dry up, and the Styx River will never die. At the end of his speech, Styx seemed to have regained his former self-confidence, and there was a hint of unruliness in his words. The sea of blood never dries up, and the river Styx never dies, he slowly shook his head. In this world, except for stronger Taoism and realm, there is no reason to rely on external forces to achieve immortality. With a thought in his heart, the azure space gourd flew into the air. The next moment, the vast swallowing power spread out. The water of the rolling river of blood was swallowed by the space gourd. Styx saw this with a sarcastic look on his face. If I could take away the sea of blood with just a few space spiritual treasures, I, Styx, would have died in ancient times. Indeed, the sea of blood contains strong corrosive power. It would be fine if you only absorb a little. If too much is absorbed, the treasure will be corroded by the dirty blood and fall apart. However, since Su Junming dared to absorb the water of the blood sea, he was certainly not unprepared. With a thought in his heart, Dushan God demonic flag appeared in the space gourd. 3 Yuan Hui years ago, the 17-sided gods and demon flags were trained by Su Junming to have 7 restraints. The gods and demons in the flags were all Hunyuan Xianxian. Now, 3 more Yuan Hui have passed. Nourished by the endless chaotic spiritual energy, the Dushan God Demon banner has taken a step further and has become a top-grade chaotic spiritual treasure with 9 restrictions. Although the gods and demons in the banner are not yet complete, they are still in the later stage. The power is incomparable. The 17 gods and demons roared and opened their huge mouths. The water of the rolling sea of blood tumbled and fell into the mouths of the gods and demons. The water of the blood sea is made from the essence and blood of the creatures in heaven and earth, combined with many evil spirits such as death, darkness, killing, and poison in the world. Except for the Blood Sea, a filthy place derived from the prehistoric world, it cannot be contained anywhere. However, although the water of the Blood Sea is filthy, it is much worse than the energy of chaos. The 17 Dushan gods and demons were controlled by Su Junming, and their bodies were forged with chaotic spiritual energy. Their internal organs had already been trained to be extremely powerful. Now, of course, there is no problem in absorbing the water of the Blood Sea. However, everything has a limit. If you absorb too much at once, you will be contaminated by the water of the Blood Sea. Fortunately, after experiencing the tempering of chaos, this speed is much higher than that of ordinary Hunyuan Xianxian. Su Junming's methods don't stop there. Something moved in my heart. The surging power of swallowing brought the water of the Sea of Blood into the Creation Spirit Island. I went back to my hometown for the holidays today and there is only one chapter. I will see if I can make up for it tomorrow. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest for us. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1079. The top quality spiritual roots planted on the island have a strong ability to clarify and transform turbidity, and can greatly transform filthy air into spiritual energy. It can continuously purify the water of the Blood Sea. Coupled with the storage of the space gourd, the refining of the yin and yang gourd, and the digestion of the devouring gourd, the water of the Blood Sea plummeted to the naked eye. At the beginning, Ming He was still sneering, not worried at all about Su Junming collecting the water of the Blood Sea. But when almost half of the blood was taken away and there was still no end in sight, he began to panic. The Sea of Blood is his foundation, the result of running dozens of Yuan Hui. If Su Junming takes them all away, he will really be close to death. Su Junming, do you really want to fight to the death with me? Ancestor Styx said sternly. The fierce look on his face showed that he was already afraid in his heart. Su Junming glanced at him lightly and was too lazy to talk nonsense. You've already been beaten to this point, and you still want to make peace? How can it be? Moreover, after absorbing and refining half of the Blood Sea water, Su Junming's 17 gods and demons among the banners have already broken through to the peak of Hunyuan Xianxian, and are rapidly moving towards perfection. As long as they are truly perfect, they can be prepared to survive the catastrophe and achieve the ultimate Hunyuan spiritual treasure. When the time comes, the power that the formation of gods and demons in the capital will burst out will not be much different than that of Pangu at his peak. If we were in the wilderness, we could at least have a fight with Hung Jun. The vast Sea of Blood is really my blessed land. Su Junming was happy. Dozens of Yuan Hui and nearly 10 billion years of blood essence have been accumulated here, which is simply the best nourishment for the gods and demons in Dushan. Su Junming no longer needs the spiritual roots of the Creation Spirit Island to digest the energy of the Blood Sea. It is rare to encounter such a huge amount of living essence blood, and it is only proper to use it to feed the gods and demons of the sky. As for the evil spirit in the Blood Sea, in addition to being refined by the Dushan gods and demons themselves, it was also wiped away by the yin and yang gourd, returning to its original state. However, the deeper you go, the more intense the malice in the Blood Sea water becomes, and the speed at which the Dushan gods and demons absorb and refine it inevitably slows down. Su Junming saw this and felt something in his heart. The Dian divine mirror flew into the space gourd, made secrets with both hands, and instantly transformed into a billion-mile Tai Chi diagram. The mighty yin and yang divine light rotated. The water of the rolling Sea of Blood was absorbed into it, and all the evil energy was directly returned to its origin and turned into pure spiritual energy. Tai Chi too is the three treasures of the open heaven and is extremely powerful. The direct result is that the speed at which the space gourd absorbs the water of the Blood Sea has increased dozens of times. In the Fire Cloud Cave, Fuxi and Nuwa sat side by side. In the water mirror in front of them, it was the scene of Su Junming collecting the water of the Sea of Blood. I didn't expect that Su Junming's Taoism was so high that even Ancestor Ming he could beat him Fuxi's side. Every time he sees the powerful side of the other party, he always regrets how easily he offended the other party. Although I tried hard to make up for it later, I never went back to the beginning. Nuwa next to her looked at the scene with no surprise in her expression. Back in the depths of chaos, she had personally learned Su Junming's methods. If he hadn't been merciful to the domineering 12 capital gods formation, he would have fallen long ago. Now, Styx can be subdued without a large formation. 3 multidimensional associations, his strength has improved again. Thinking of this, Nuwa's heart became complicated. His white right hand subconsciously placed on his lower abdomen. Sister, what happened between you and Su Junming back in Wankaiu? Did you actually get into trouble? Fuxi asked. If Su Junming hadn't been beaten away by his sister, the two of them would have met long ago. Not to mention turning their hostility into friendship, at least they would be much better than they are now. Brother, don't ask about this matter. I will tell you when the time comes. Looking at her expression, Fuxi opened his mouth, but did not speak. Having been with her for dozens of meetings, she understood her sister's character. She doesn't want to say it, and no one can force it. Okay. But you have also seen it. Chongshanzhenjun Su Junming's strength is extraordinary, and there is no way he will advance to the Hunyuan Golden Immortal level in the future. Being an enemy of such a person is a disaster rather than a blessing. If the conflict can be resolved, resolve it in advance. Nuwa nodded. Staring at the figure in the water mirror, if he was allowed to know the truth, he would never be his enemy in this life. Boom. The raging sea of blood is like an erupting volcano. It flew hundreds of millions of feet across the sky and hit Su Junming. Activate the time talisman, and the power of time permeates the whole body. No matter how much blood flowed through, Su Junming was not injured at all. Looking at Patriarch Styx, who looked ugly. Can't you help it? But the water of the blood river alone is no threat to me. Don't be so proud. Ancestor Styx, whose expression was as black as the bottom of a pot, struck the Shura flag with a wave of his hand, and a mighty bloody aura flew down into the sea of blood. Visible to the naked eye, there are powerful forbidden derivatives. A large formation covering the entire bottom of the blood sea quickly took shape. Formation? High-grade Hunyuan level? Unfortunately, it's still a little bit behind. Su Junming stretched out his hand and the spirit gourd instantly turned into a billion-foot copper bell. Boom! The mighty bells swept across tens of millions of miles, and the strong soul-destroying bells shook the spirit of Styx, causing him to be in a trance for a moment. The large formation that was being mobilized also stopped instantly. The most important thing is that all the Azura tribesmen were shaken out of their minds by the sound of the bell and died unexpectedly. The death of hundreds of millions of Shura, such a huge karma, caused Su Junming's own merit to drop instantly. Fortunately, the Azuras are not good people. More than 90% of them are people with deep karma, so the reduction in merit is not that big. And it doesn't matter if Su Junming doesn't become a saint through merit. Styx came back to his senses and saw everything. A huge sadness rose from the bottom of my heart, turning into huge anger in my heart. Su Junming. I, Ming He, swear here that I will never stop until I kill you. The thunderous sound was like a cuckoo crying for blood, and it was obvious that he was extremely angry. Seeing him furious and tearful, Su Junming said calmly. If you want to kill me, then go ahead. Use all your skills to avenge your Azura clan. When people are angry, they are most likely to expose their weaknesses. So he didn't care at all about Styx's murderous gaze. Come on, aren't you, the ancestor of Styx, a powerful person who achieved enlightenment in ancient times and are the 3,000 guests of Xixiao Palace? Why are you shrinking back now? Su Junming chattered endlessly. He wanted to completely anger Ancestor Styx. But what surprised him was that this old guy who had lived for billions of years glared at him fiercely, and then turned around and flew towards the west. The escape speed is as fast as lightning. It disappeared into the distance in the blink of an eye. He actually ran away. Not only Su Junming was surprised, but even the people watching the battle were also surprised. But this is indeed the wisest choice. No matter how hard you try, you can't defeat him. If you don't run away, you're really going to die. As for the face of the ancient great power, how can this thing be important? Shaking his head, he was also a little surprised at the decisiveness and forbearance of Ancestor Styx. The more this happens, the less likely he is to be allowed to live. Otherwise, a Hunyuan Xianxian would be thinking about him in the dark every day, and the threat to the disciples of Chongshan Academy would be too great. To cut the weed, we must remove the root. Having made up his mind, Su Junming activated the time talisman, took out a past body, and chased after Ancestor Ming He. The sea of blood never dries up, the river Styx never dies. If you want to kill this person completely, you must first clean up the sea of blood. Ancestor Styx, who was escaping, also noticed the figure chasing after him. When he was hesitating whether to turn around and kill the opponent first, his past body had activated the space talisman and appeared beside him in an instant. Ming He's heart skipped a beat, and he subconsciously activated the Shuro flag to protect his body. He turned around and activated the Pangu sword, slashing out with one strike. The blessing space law directly penetrated the protection of the Shuro flag. How can it be? A look of disbelief froze on his face. He couldn't believe that a clone could be so powerful. He went over to activate the sealing talisman, and a powerful sealing light enveloped the Shuro flag. This natal spiritual treasure belonging to Patriarch Styx instantly fell into the hands of his past self. With the blessing of dozens of seals in succession, the resistance of the Shuro banner became weaker and weaker, and gradually disappeared into the invisible. Is the clone so strong? Everyone watching the battle was shocked. Saint Taking frowned slightly. He felt a sense of familiarity from this person. It seems that Su Junming has also realized the magical power similar to my one chi transforms three purities. Teacher, it seems that Ancestor Styx is in a much worse situation, Archmage Suantu said. Saint Taking nodded slightly. Ancestor Ming He's most proud treasure, the 12th grade Blood Lotus, Yuantu, and ABI swords were all taken away by Su Junming. The strength is greatly reduced. Although there are more than these accumulated over billions of years, the remaining treasures are at most the Shuro flag and the Blood Shadow Needle. It can be seen from the fight just now that they pose no threat to Su Junming at all. Return to the Sea of Blood. Ancestor Styx, who was beheaded again, became even more angry and panicked. As soon as he gritted his teeth, thousands of figures flew out from the Sea of Blood, flying in all directions from the sky and the earth. Su Junming was in mid-air, looked in his eyes, and smiled calmly. With a wave of his hand, the soul gourd once again transformed into a giant bell holding the sky. Boom! A huge earthquake billions of miles away. Most of the clones of the Son of Blood created by Patriarch Styx were shattered. After all, Styx is not a saint of taking. One of the 48,000 Blood God Son clones can survive if he escapes, but his own strength is far inferior to the original body. In an instant, most of it was destroyed by Su Junming. Watching the three escaping from the underground. With a thought in his heart, the past body, present body, and future body of the Time Dao body each held magical weapons and all chased after him. With the Illusion God Ball, Pangu Sword, Xianyuan Water Control Banner and the Death Demon Banner, it is not difficult to kill a Styx without a powerful magic weapon for protection. It just takes a little more time in the middle. Styx, you are in doom today. If you don't want your soul to be destroyed, just surrender and capture him. Ancestor Ming He, who was wearing a bright red Taoist robe, emerged from the sea of blood and stared at Su Junming, who was in the sky with an earth-shattering aura. Su Junming, my ancestor admitted defeat today. But it's still too early for you to want to kill me. Thanks to the book friend /U0026amp, /U0026amp, wandering /U0026amp, /U0026amp, 500 starting coin for the reward, thank you very much. Become a disciple of Taoist priest for us. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1080. Chapter 1060. The sea of blood has dried up, and it will be brought soon. Su Junming frowned slightly as he looked at Patriarch Styx, who looked arrogant and seemed to possess a pearl of wisdom. He really couldn't think of any other tricks the other party could use to turn over the cards. The entire sea of blood was scanned by him with the Dian mirror, and there could not be any heavy treasures that would threaten him. It's empty talk, but I don't know what it means. Ancestor Styx smiled coldly and did not refute. Take a deep breath. The next moment, tongues clashed with thunder. Fellow Taoist Zunti, please save me. Styx is willing to join the western section. As soon as these words came out, countless monks were shocked. Even Su Junming was a little surprised. At the time of great enlightenment, the golden immortal is not dual, the western wonderful Dharma patriarch is Bodhi. He has no birth and no death in the three elements. He is full of energy and full of God's infinite kindness. Accompanied by loud singing, Buddhist chants filled the sky and resounded across the western sky. The vast Buddha's light filled the sky, surrounded by billions of necklaces. A skinny old monk wearing a yellow cassock was like a dreamy bubble that quickly solidified. It is none other than the 6 saints of the ancient world and the second leader of the Western sect, the Zunti Taoist. Seeing him, Ancestor Styx breathed a sigh of relief. Zunti has been wooing him to join the Western sect and serve as the leader of the third religion. In the past, Minghe was the same generation as the other party. If he had not been introduced or given a few more opportunities, Meng Hongjun bestowed the Hongmengziki to obtain the holy status. In terms of cultivation alone, he was definitely not inferior to them, so he never bowed his head. Now that a calamity is imminent and his life is in danger, he can only put down his dignity and save his life. Zunti intervened. It seems that old Styx will not have to die now. Not only will he not have to die, but I'm afraid that Lord Chongshan will be in big trouble next. Zunti is not a gentleman. Haha, among the 7 saints in the prehistoric era, this guy is the most shameless. When the Buzhu Mountain gourd vine was born, 5 mature gourds already had their owners, but this guy still wanted to get involved, saying that the treasure was destined for him and he wanted to share it. Second, he was beaten away by Sanking. The surrounding discussions were unbridled, and when Saint Zunti heard it, he felt a little angry and depressed in his heart. By the way, who is still shameless? If it weren't for the ancient times, and the western wasteland was damaged by the battle between the 5 ancient saints, and the spiritual energy and spiritual objects were sparse, would he always come to the east to fight the autumn wind? Not all were forced. Countless thoughts flashed through his mind, and they were quickly pushed into his mind. Looking towards the green-robed Taoist standing thousands of meters away with his hands behind his back, Zunti was secretly surprised. He had also seen the previous battles, and he had never known that there was a person like Zhenjun Chongshan in the ancient world. He could actually press the ancestor of Minghe, a powerful contemporary of his, to the ground and rub him. And if he hadn't come here, he would have almost been killed by this person. Fellow Taoist Zunti, please help me kill this beast. Ancestor Styx said impatiently. He really hated Su Junming. Fellow Taoist, please be patient. Turned. Fellow Daoist Su, I am a poor Taoist. It is better to reconcile enemies than to make enemies. Although there was a misunderstanding between Daoist and Daoist Minghe before, the Shura clan has suffered heavy casualties now, and the hatred of Daoist Kongshan's lineage has naturally been avenged. How about giving this poor Tao some face and returning all the treasures such as the 12-rank blood lotus, Yuan to Abi sword, Shura flag, and other treasures to fellow Taoist Ming He, so that the two sides can turn their hostility into friendship. In full view of everyone, Taoist Zunti had to show some respect. He didn't go all the way to the other side of the Styx River and yelled at Su Junming to kill him. Alas, this Taoist Su is miserable. Who says it's not the case? After all the hard work, all the benefits were reaped by Western religions. The cultivators were talking a lot, nervously watching Su Junming's choice. At this time, countless spiritual consciousnesses were focused on Su Junming. No matter how strong or weak, all the powerful people in the ancient times are paying attention. Looking at Taoist Zunti's smiling face, Su Junming's expression remained unchanged. What if I said no? Haha, fellow Taoist Master Styx is now the third leader of our Western section. If fellow Taoist insists on refusing, he will become a fellow Taoist. The current Western religion has not changed its name to Buddhism, so Zunti still calls himself Pandeo. Su Junming smiled indifferently. You saints are really as proud as ever. It seems that Taoist friend rejected Pandeo's kindness, Zunti said. That's right. As soon as these words came out, countless consciousnesses around him became silent, but within a moment, they began to boil. He rejected Zunti. Is this guy crazy? Is he going to challenge the saint? Everyone was talking a lot, and even Zunti himself was a little unbelievable. In the ancient times, besides the saint, who else could resist the saint? Yugzu Palace in Kunlun Mountain. Wearing a white Taoist robe, the majestic Yuan Shi Tianzun sat on the lotus platform in the middle. The surrounding aura formed into a necklace, fluttering in the air, showing the majesty of the holy way. Below, the deputy leader Ran Deng Taoist, the 12 golden immortals, the named disciples Anji Xianweng and Yun Zongzi sat in sequence. The immortals looked at everything in the huge water mirror in the hall and talked about it. Yun Zongzi felt the most complicated. He and Su Junming have been friends for many years. Unexpectedly, when he had just advanced to the level of Hunyuan Celestial Immortal, he was full of pride and felt that he had made extraordinary achievements, but his old friend was already a Hunyuan True Immortal, and his magic weapon was amazing. His Taoism was so high that he could suppress the ancient enlightenment. The ancestor of Ming He, who is the same generation as his mentor Yuan Shi Tianzun. Taoist Ran Deng felt fear in his heart. He has not forgotten that he snatched the Qincan ruler from the other party. In the cultivation of the 7 Yuan Hui, he only advanced from the early stage of Hunyuan Celestial Immortal to the later stage. Far worse than Su Junming. If the other party came to him to ask for the treasure, he would never be able to stop it. It seems that I will live in Kunlun Mountain permanently in the future. Of course, Su Junming's direct refusal to mention the matter also raised his expectations. If this person is killed by Zunti and Styx, then he will have peace of mind. Teacher, is there any treasure in the world that can make the Hunyuan True Immortal comparable to a saint? Guangchenzi suddenly asked. For a moment, everyone turned their heads and looked over. Those who can cultivate to the level of Hunyuan True Immortal are definitely not fools. They are not unaware of the huge strength gap between Hunyuan True Immortal and saints. Therefore, since Su Junming dared to refuse Zunti, he must have something to back up. Yuan Shi Tianzun pondered for a moment. The world is vast, and there are countless rare treasures and strange abilities and techniques. Even a teacher cannot know them all. However, in ancient times, the only ones that could compete with the saints were 2 large formations. The demon clan's clan-suppressing formation Zhou Tianxing Do, and the witch clan's clan-suppressing formation 12 capital heavenly gods formation. As he said that, there was a trace of memory in Yuan Shi Tianzun's eyes. In the vast ancient times, 7 Yuan Hui have passed. Too many people and things have become a thing of the past. Even with Yuan Shi Tianzun's saintly state of mind, he couldn't help but feel a little emotional for a while. Look. How can it be? The disciples' exclamations made Yuan Shitianzun subconsciously look up. The next moment, his expression changed drastically. He stood up directly from the Dharma throne. How can it be? Not only him, but also Sanking. Dushan gods and demons formation. Endless energy and blood rose up, clinging to the vast formations. A figure with a majestic body, long hair shawl, eyes like the sun and moon, an ancient face, and a powerful momentum quickly condensed and took shape. An extremely tyrannical pressure spread across the vast land. At this moment, everyone except Nuwa was speechless. Pangu! Great God Pangu! Everyone looked at what they saw in disbelief. But no matter how they wiped their eyes again and again, the figure that was 10,000 feet tall and almost similar to a real person was still deep in their memory, that majestic existence that opened up the prehistoric world and killed 3,000 demon gods. Sitting cross-legged in the position where Pangu's sea of consciousness was, feeling the vast power in Pangu's true body, Su Junming was satisfied. Pangu's true body, which is composed of 17 high-grade Dushan gods and demon banners, and 17 perfect gods and demons of Hunyuan Xianxian, does not need to mobilize the power of heaven in the prehistoric world, and it is already a Hunyuan golden immortal level existence. Therefore, Pangu's true body is no longer just a light and shadow, or translucent like before, but is extremely solid and close to the essence. Moreover, he is no longer tall as soon as he appears, but adjusts his height according to Su Junming's heart. With the continuous improvement of cultivation level, the progress of Shenhun Dao and Formation Dao, his mastery of the Dushan god and demon formation is getting stronger and stronger. Spreading his left hand, a huge black iron shield emerged, its dark light exuding tyrannical pressure. Opening his right hand, Pan Tuo's giant axe appeared. The dark giant axe flashed with cold light. With a slight shake, the tough space was cut open. The 17-sided gods and demon flags were transformed into 17 gems, which were respectively embedded in Pan Tuo's shield and Pan Tuo's giant axe. The power of the two instantly increased dozens of times. The giant axe was swung and struck on Pan Tuo's shield. Bang! The mighty sound of gold and iron clashing echoed through the sky. It also awakened everyone's consciousness from the shock. Zunti, I, Chongshan, have no enmity with your Western religion, and I don't want to embarrass you. If you retreat today, I will forget the past. The mighty sound resounded throughout the world. The words are plain, but they reveal endless tyranny. Seeing Pangu's real body with his strong aura and still above him, Zunti took a deep breath and suppressed the shock in his heart. He really didn't expect that there was such a number one person hidden in the ancient world. If I had known better, I wouldn't have waded into this muddy water. It's really not worth it to offend a guy with the power of a saint for the sake of an ancestor of Styx. But now in full public view, if he shrinks back, not only will he be ridiculed, but who will dare to join the Western sect in the future? Su Junming, I don't want to embarrass you, but Patriarch Ming He is a member of my Western religion, and I absolutely cannot let you harm me. This is a subtle reminder that there are two saints in our Western religion. After hearing this, Patriarch Styx breathed a sigh of relief. Looking at Pangu's true body opposite, which had an astonishing momentum and was overwhelming all over the world, no less powerful than a saint, I felt extremely regretful. If he had known that the other party was so tyrannical, he would have surrendered Bosun and Wu Mo, so why would he come to this point? Looking at Zunti, who had a majestic aura and was full of vigilance, Su Junming smiled calmly. In this case, I won't be polite. Zunti took a deep breath, knowing that today's battle was inevitable. Thank you to book friends De Wang, a high-end Shuo Sheng Xianfang for each giving 100 starting coins. Thank you very much. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1081. Chapter 1061, Fighting the Saint, Shocking the World. The right hand is spread out, and a main branch inlaid with gold, silver, glass, crystal, clam, pearl, and agate appears in the palm. It is precisely the natal treasure 7 treasures tree that has been nominated to shake the world. Fellow Taoist, how about the battle to chaos? The saint took action, shocking the world. I don't know how many lives were lost in the process. Zunti Taoists become saints through merit. If they kill too much and deplete their merits, they will fall down from the holy status. He didn't want to take such a big risk. Easy to say. Please. Please. The two of them took a step forward and disappeared in an instant. With the great magic power of the saint, it is of course very fast to go from prehistoric to chaos. Seeing the huge aura disappearing quickly, the stick's ancestor couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. The guy finally left. Looking at the nearly dry sea of blood, ancestor Styx felt like crying without tears. The billion-year-old foundation of Blood Sea was almost destroyed in Su Junming's hands. Su Junming, although my ancestor is no match for you now, when I advance to Hunyuan Golden Immortal in the future, I will seek revenge from you. With Su Junming's current explosive strength, he did not dare to seek revenge. The majesty of a saint cannot be challenged. Suddenly, a sense of danger rose from the bottom of my heart. Before he could react, a powerful sword light pierced through his chest. He turned his head with difficulty and looked at Su Junming, who appeared behind him. You, how is that possible? He clearly watched the other party leave with Taoist Zunti. I said I would kill you, and I will never break my promise. Bang, the body of Patriarch Styx exploded, turned into immeasurable blood, and fell into the sea of blood. Su Junming was no longer stingy and directly activated the space gourd to quickly collect all the remaining blood water. Ancestor Styx used his old skills again, and thousands of blood shadows flew in all directions. Obviously, this is Styx's last resort. Dong dong dong. The mighty bells resounded in all directions. Most of the thousands of blood shadows were wiped out. Although the remaining 3 speeds were as fast as lightning, they could not compare with Su Junming's wonderful space technique. Moreover, he was killed many times by Su Junming. Although he could be resurrected every time, part of his soul was depleted every time he was killed. Now that Styx's strength has been reduced by 40 to 50%, and he has no treasure to protect him, how can he be Su Junming's opponent? Fellow Taoist, please show mercy. Along with the old voice, a brown lightning penetrated the space and hit Su Junming. I sensed the majestic power within it. Su Junming passed the time and exploded suddenly, turning into vast mana and blending into the underworld death flag. The latter instantly transformed into a giant flag holding up the sky, and the thick layers of death energy were layered and airtight. Boom! It's like Mars hitting the Earth. The powerful shockwave spread like lightning. The explosive spiritual energy stirred up billions of feet of smoke and dust. Half of the sea of blood, hundreds of billions of miles in radius, was destroyed. Fortunately, the Blood Sea Shura clan had been killed by Su Junming. Because of the death energy of the Blood Sea, there was no grass growing around them. Otherwise, no one knows how many lives would have died. The aura dissipates. The smoke and dust are gone. Now he is pointing to the death flag of the underworld, and thousands of meters away, a rosary the size of a child's fist is entwined with rich Buddha light, carrying it up and down. Rosary beads. In the consecration of gods, the Holy Mother's spiritual treasure was received to guide the Taoist to suppress the ghosts. Do you plan to bully the few with the help of deist fellow Taoist? The rosary beads flashed, and an old monk wearing yellow robes and a sad face appeared. Fellow Taoist has misunderstood. Pandeo has no intention of getting into trouble with fellow Taoist. He just wants to save fellow Taoist Ming He. As he said that, he looked at Su Junming's future body next to him. He was holding the magic god pearl in his hand, which contained the soul of Styx. If this soul is destroyed, The ancestor of Styx and the 3,000 guests of Xixiao Palace will be completely dead. Save him. Su Junming smiled faintly and flicked his fingers. The spirit of Styx exploded instantly, leaving only a little bit of true spirit to return to the world. You don't need to save me now. The Taoist priest looked at him deeply, with a trace of anger flashing in his eyes. Fellow Taoist is too ruthless. Ruthless? The Azura clan swallows souls and refines their souls. Because of their existence, the souls of countless living beings have been devoured by them. When it comes to ruthlessness, it is even more difficult for a poor person. As for the river Styx, it has already been splattered with blood. On the spot, I refused to die. How could I still keep him? But, since Taoist fellow Styx has joined our Western sect, he is a member of our section now that he has been killed by his fellow Taoist. Pandao Tian has become the leader of the Western section. We must seek justice for him no matter what. Haha, it sounds so nice, but in the end it's not just bullying the minority. The Taoist priest raised one palm up. My fellow Taoist is wrong. Western religion never relies on strength to bully the weak. As long as my fellow Taoist receives 3 strikes from me, the poor Taoist will retreat. Su Junming was about to speak. The sound of phoenixes echoed throughout the world. The next moment, a crisp voice revealing endless majesty came from afar. Why don't you let me take over fellow Taoist's 3 blows? A ray of red lightning flew from afar and turned into a hydrangea as big as a mountain when it came close. Taoist Jian's expression changed. It turns out to be junior sister Nuwa. Su Junming looked strange. With his everlasting relationship with Nuwa, how could the latter take action for him? Not only was he confused, but all the monks in the ancient world were confused. I wonder what the relationship is between junior sister and fellow Taoist Su. It doesn't matter. I just can't stand your Western teachings that bully the minority. I believe you. Although it is not common to everyone, Jian still knows what kind of character Nuwa is. He has an arrogant temperament, has always been dignified, and knows how to weigh the pros and cons. How could he offend the Western religion for a stranger? Junior sister must intervene in this matter. That's right. His tone was firm, with no intention of giving in. The Taoist's expression changed after a while. Forget it, since junior sister Nuwa intervened, for your sake, today's matter will end here. The figure of the Taoist guide disappeared, and the rosary flew away instantly. Su Junming felt relieved. Just as he was about to say thank you, the red hydrangea also flew away like lightning. The words of thanks just stayed on my lips. He looked at the disappearing flash of red in surprise. After a while, he shook his head. Still unclear, why did Nuwa help him? Seeing that the blood sea had dried up and turned into a huge sand pit with a depth of hundreds of millions of feet and a diameter of more than 1 billion miles, I let out a sigh of relief. The river Styx has been killed by him, and the sea of blood has dried up. Of course, as a place where the ancient continent has released its filth, the sea of blood will slowly recover as time goes by. But Styx can never come back. With one step, the figure disappeared. Rosary, which was returning to the west at a rapid speed, suddenly stopped. No, that's an illusion. Taoist Jian suddenly realized that the scene where the soul of Styx was destroyed just now was an illusion, and the real soul of Styx was still in Su Junming's hands. He was about to return, but soon stopped again. With Nuwa here, my junior brother and I have no chance of winning if we join forces. That's all. In the fire cloud cave, Fuxi looked at his sister with a strange expression. He also didn't expect that his sister, who had once been at war with Su Junming, would take the initiative to help him. Nuwa's expression remained unchanged, staring at Su Junming and Taoist Zunti, who were facing each other in chaos in the water mirror opposite. Brother, why do you look at me like this? Didn't you just say that it's better to dissolve enemies than to make enemies? Did you want me and Su Junming to get along well? I said this, but... okay, let's talk about it later. They're about to start. When Fuxi heard this, he quickly looked into the water mirror. The saint-level fighting skills certainly attracted endless attention. Su Junming himself and Taoist Zunti stood proudly in the chaos beyond the starry sky, facing each other from a distance of tens of thousands of feet. At this time, Taoist Zunti had received the news that Styx was dead from his senior brother. Facing Su Junming, he looked angry. But the person opposite is not a soft persimmon. Today I am here to learn from my Taoist friends the clever tips. Grab the 7 treasures tree and swipe it sharply. Boom, like the sun rising in the east, the mighty colorful light, like the Yangtze River, rushed straight towards Su Junming. Wherever it passed, the violent chaotic energy dispersed. A divine light shines for billions of miles. The power of the saint is so terrifying. Su Junming saw it in his eyes and made a simple vertical slash with the giant Pan Tuo axe in his hand. The silver-white axe light cut through billions of miles of chaos, and countless earth, fire, wind, and water surged out. The vast axe light is like a bolt of lightning passing through the sky when the heaven and earth first opened, heading straight towards the colorful divine light. Tisk! The sound of tearing silk resounded through the chaos. The colorful divine light continued to shatter, but was soon blocked by layers of divine light. Zunti held the 7 treasures tree tightly, and as he brushed it, the spiritual light boiled like a tide. Su Junming swung the Pan Tuo divine axe, and when he struck it, the powerful light of the axe was like lightning breaking through the sky. The two of them went back and forth, facing each other hundreds of times, and it was hard to tell the difference. Zunti suddenly collected the 7 treasures tree and clenched it with both hands. Bless the pestle! The light of the 7 treasures tree skyrocketed, and the mighty divine light turned into a billion-foot-long Vajra with bright golden light. Duh! With a sharp shout, the Vajra flew towards Su Junming like lightning. Before they even got close, a powerful force that could destroy mountains and mountains was already rushing towards them. The power is more than 10 times more powerful than the previous 7-color divine light. Obviously, this is Zunti's own natal magical power. After hesitating for a moment, Su Junming did not use the power of heaven and earth controlled by Pangu's true body. With a flash of Pan Tuo's divine axe, Pan Huang's 9 axes cut off the 5 elements. The axe was slashed out with 5 colors of red, green, black, yellow, and white, like 5 mountains standing side by side. It was extremely fast and carried extremely tyrannical power. Wherever it passed, the energy of earth, fire, wind, and water generated by the previous battle to destroy the chaos quickly poured into 5 axe lights. Therefore, the further it flies, the stronger the 5 axe lights become. When he was about to collide with the divine pestle, the 5 axe lights suddenly merged. A 5-color giant axe with a length of hundreds of millions of miles and a terrifying power was slashed in the air. The blessing pestle was crushed to pieces after holding on for a moment under the 5-color giant axe. Taoist Zunti couldn't help being shocked when he saw it, and he quickly waved the 7 treasures tree. Layers of colorful divine light flew toward the 5-color giant axe. But this powerful aura was like paper in front of the giant axe, being chopped into pieces. Moreover, this giant axe continues to absorb the surrounding spiritual energy and becomes stronger and stronger. Seeing that they were about to collide, Taoist Zunti gritted his teeth. Bodhi's true body. The next moment, a golden body with 12 heads, 24 arms, and a height of hundreds of millions of feet appeared in the chaos. The tyrannical Bodhi gold body, with its tyrannical magic power, pushed back the endless air of chaos thousands of miles around. The saint's magical powers are indeed extraordinary. The palm of nirvana. The majestic sound shook the chaos. 24 palms were shot out, and layers of palm prints rushed straight towards the light of the axe. Boom boom boom. The continuous thunder shook the chaos and shook the prehistoric world. The bursting chaotic energy turned into earth, water, wind, and fire, covering tens of millions of trillions of miles. A huge world vaguely took shape, but was soon shattered by a violent force. When everything gradually stabilized, Su Junming's billion-foot Pangu true body and Zunti's huge Bodhi gold body were facing each other from a distance. Su Junming holds a shield in his left hand and an axe in his right hand. His momentum is as high as before. However, there is an obvious axe mark on the palms of Zunti's Bodhisattva. Obviously, in the duel just now, Zunti chess was one move short. Fellow Taoist Zunti, do you want to continue? Junior brother, come back. The river Styx has fallen into Su Junming's hands. There is no point in continuing the fight. After hearing the message from his senior brother, Zunti felt unwilling to do so, but he also understood that there was really no need to continue fighting. Moreover, it can be seen from the axe just now. I am indeed a little worse than Su Junming. He took a deep look at Pangu's real body opposite. Fellow Taoist Su's cultivation is indeed extraordinary. Let's end the fight today. Easy to say. Today's battle has already made everyone in the prehistoric world understand their own strength. And he also achieved his goal of killing Styx. In this case, there is no need to continue fighting. After looking at him for the last time, Taoist Zunti put away the Bodhisattva and disappeared into the ancient world. Su Junming also put away the array of gods and demons in Tushan, dispersed Pangu's true body, and flew into the prehistoric world. His search for the reincarnation of the black turtle for Taoist Tiangong is not over yet. Thanks to Book Friend Clan, memories for the 1500 starting coin reward. Thank you very much. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1082. A war that stirred up the entire prehistoric world came to an end. Su Junming, the true king of Chongshan who launched a series of wars, shocked the world and became the 8th saint in the ancient world after Hung Jun, Sanking, Jianzunti and Nuwa. Of course, there are not just 8 saints who came from ancient times, but Yang Mei, Xianyu and Daozun, Luohu and other great powers from the ancient times have been so long ago that the monks in the medieval era have forgotten their existence. In the Taishu era, the Beast Emperor and Zhenyi, the Earth Emperor clan and the Human Emperor clan have become living fossils that cannot be traced back, and have long since been lost in history. In Mount Sumi, Zunti was still brooding over his defeat. Brother, who is the Su Junming? He can actually become a saint. Jiyan shook his head. I don't know either. I have never heard of this person before. But to be able to have such a fortune, he must be an extraordinary person. It is impossible to say that he is a remnant from the ancient times and an ancient enlightened being. Zunti nodded slowly. So, this person has obtained the Hongmeng purple qi that originally belonged to Taoist Hongyun. Otherwise, although Taoist Hongyun's purple energy did not fall into the hands of Kunpeng and Minghe, and its whereabouts are still unknown, it certainly did not fall into the hands of Su Junming. Oh? Senior brother, are you so sure? He nodded and said, that Pangu's true body is definitely not formed by Hongmeng purple energy and skills, but the formation. The great formation of the 12 capital gods, Zunti suddenly said. That's right. Zunti carefully recalled his feelings when he faced Su Junming, and he agreed more and more with his senior brother's judgment. Moreover, he knew that his senior brother's formation cultivation was extraordinary, and he had also studied the monster clan's Jotien Star Do formation and the Wu clan's 12 capital celestial god Sha formation, so he would definitely not be mistaken. Su Junming is from the human race. How could he possibly know the secret of the Wu clan's clan-suppressing formation, the 12 capital heavenly gods and evil formation? Moreover, more than half of the 12 ancestral witches of the Wu clan were used by Hutu to open up the underworld. It is impossible at all. Let Su Junming get it? Although I don't know what kind of connection there is between Su Junming and the witch clan, he must have obtained the secret of the witch clan's 12 capital heavenly gods' formation. As for the physical body of the 12 ancestral witches, there are many secrets of ancient magical skills. If you have the will, you can always find a way. After Zunti pondered for a moment, he nodded in agreement. By the way, senior brother, how did Nuwa get involved with Su Junming? I don't know about this either. But after today, the prehistoric situation is that the three parties will coexist Ji inside. Patriarch Hung Jun is superior, Sanking is naturally on the same side, their senior brothers are on the same side, and Nuwa and Su Junming are obviously on the same side. Nu Wa is the mother of the ancient human race, Fuxi is the emperor of the medieval human race, and Su Junming is the founder of Chongshan Academy. Their lineage is destined to be dominated by the human race, Zunti said. I have learned about Chongshan Academy. There are many disciples in the Daluo realm, no less than my Buddhist and Sanking sections. Only the Hunyuan realm is few and lacks the suppression of saints. Now that this shortcoming is made up, it will immediately become the top sect in the world. The three-legged situation is complete. After Zunti nodded, I just don't know how Sanking can deal with himself. Yugzu Palace in Kunlun Mountain. Yuanqi Tianzun is sitting high on the Dharma platform, and Guangchenzi below is bowing and saying, Teacher, senior brother Duobeo wrote back and said that third senior uncle is in retreat and I'm afraid he won't be able to come. Yuanqi Tianzun frowned instantly. Since the Shangqing Taoist left Kunlun Mountain, he has called himself the Tongtian cult master. The Taoist name of Shangqing has been used less and less, apparently intending to draw a clear line with the Sanking. Where is your uncle? The great uncle said that he has fully understood the master's intention and asked me to give this jade talisman to the master. Spreading his right palm, a red jade talisman flew towards Yuanqi Tianzun. He stretched out his hand to take it, the jade talisman spread out, and an obscure mana reflected into the sea of consciousness. The figure of Taking Saint appeared. Big brother. After nodding slowly, it seems that the third junior brother is not here. Yuanqi Tianzun couldn't help but said angrily, since leaving Kunlun Mountain, he has taken my second brother less and less seriously. He also calls himself the leader of Tongtian. Doesn't this draw a clear line between you and me? Didn't junior brother also get the Taoist title of Yuanqi Tianzun? That's what outsiders called it, but I've never admitted it. Saint Taking didn't say much. Based on his understanding of his junior brother, if he doesn't admit it, with a holy edict, no one will dare to scream again. The majesty of a saint cannot be challenged. But he let it go, obviously intending to break out of the stereotype of Sanking. The three purities are the three purities after all, and there is no such thing as the pleasure of being alone. Didn't even he himself accept the title of Taishang Laojun? Junior brother is looking for me, but for true Lord Chongshan Su Junming, Saint Taking changed the subject. After Yuanqi Tianzun nodded, I have never heard of this person's name in the ancient and ancient times. Now he is a saint as soon as he is born, which is quite shocking, so I would like to invite my senior brother to come and ask about it. In addition, we will also discuss it in the future. How do we, the three Puritan sect, get along with them? I had contact with true Lord Chongshan Su Junming 6 Yuan Hui years ago. Oh! Yuanqi Tianzun's eyes were shining. At that time, he was just a Hunyuan celestial immortal, but he has already shown extraordinary cultivation aptitude, and even attracted Zhang Shinian, the Liaoshan clan who should have become my disciple, to become his disciple, so I was not allowed to choose the Earth Emperor Shenan clan again. Recalling the past, Saint Taking also had a touch of memories on his face. I pitied his qualifications and wanted to accept him as my disciple, but unexpectedly he rejected me. Yuanqi Tianzun frowned and was about to reprimand him for being ignorant. But thinking about his current achievements, he took the words back again. Later, I wanted to teach him a lesson, so I sealed him with the exquisite Tower of Heaven and Earth Xian Huang merit for 3 million years. Now that I think about it, the reason why he refused my solicitation in the first place is that he must have understood the 12 capitals of the witch clan and found a way to restore his old outlook. Yuan Shitianzun nodded. Who would want to succumb to others when there is a way to achieve the status of a saint? After this incident, I rarely paid attention to this person. I didn't expect that when he was born again, he would already have the fighting power of a saint. It really shocked me. Elder brother, Su Junming can master the 12 heavenly gods and evil formation, so he must be related to the Wu clan. Will he be the new leader of the Wu clan? Won't. Eldest brother, are you so sure? You haven't understood the Chongshan Academy he founded, which is based on Buzhu Mountain. It is a purely human section. Moreover, the two great witches of the Wu clan, Zhifeng and Xiangliu, once offended Buzhu Mountain, but were repulsed by them. No, there should be no connection between the two parties. As for the 12 capital heavenly gods formation, I once asked Hu Tu. According to her, the formation map has been kept in the hands of Dizhang, the leader of the 12 ancestral witches. Later, the Lich War, Dizhang died in battle. When we collected the corpses of the Wu clan, we did not find them. Now it seems that the body of Dijiang ancestral witch must have fallen into Su Junming's hands. Yuan Shitianzun nodded and said, in this case, Su Junming's formation cultivation must be very high. If you are not high, how can you comprehend the 12 heavenly gods and evil formation? After a pause, Saint Taking said with great interest, rather than the formation, I am more curious about how he made up for the lack of the 12 ancestral witches. The 12 capital heavenly gods Shagran formation only has formation diagrams and no 12 ancestral witches. It cannot exert its power. After hearing this, Yuan Shitianzun also became curious. But he quickly shook his head. This matter must be Su Junming's core inheritance, and it is impossible to tell you and me clearly. Saint Taking sighed and nodded. Another saint has been added to the ancient world, but the teacher doesn't seem to show any sign of it. Hung Jun is the way of heaven, and the way of heaven is not Hung Jun. Since the teacher has become the way of heaven, unless it is related to the survival of the prehistoric world, the teacher will not interfere. Taking Saint said. Yuan Shitianzun pondered for a moment. What is the relationship between junior sister Nuwa and Su Junming, that she would actually take the initiative to help him? I don't know. But Fuxi is a resourceful guy. With Su Junming's care, junior sister Nuwa is no longer alone. Except for the superior Hung Jun, why is it that only Nuwa has no sect among the 6 saints of the prehistoric times? Doesn't she know the benefits of sect luck to cultivation? It's not because it's so alone that it's difficult to compete with Sanking and Jianzunti. Rather than settling for a corner and being embarrassed when the time comes, it would be better to simply let it go. With the luck of the human race and the demon race, it's not too bad. Now with Su Junming, the two saints are united. Although it is not as good as Sanking, it is not worse than Jianzunti. Coupled with the foundation laid by Chongshan Academy, it is easy to establish a powerful sect. Yuan Shitianzun frowned. Are we going to watch the Chongshan sect expand among the human race? There is no way around this matter, but the eastern wilderness is our foundation, and we absolutely cannot give it to Chongshan. Let them go to the southern wilderness or the northern wilderness. The northern wilderness is remote, cold, and sparsely populated. The southern wilderness is extremely hot, with crisscrossed mountains, few plains, and poisonous insects. It is not a good place either. Yuan Shitianzun nodded. With the prestige of the Sanking dynasty, it is still possible to subdue Chongshan. Thinking of this section, the anger towards his junior brother Tongtian cult master resurfaced. Senior brother, their junior brother has become more and more wanton in recent years. Why are there thousands of immortals coming to court on Jin-Ao Island, but look at the people he recruits. There are Taoist disciples there who are wearing horns, demons, and monsters. What does it look like? If this continues, Jijiao will definitely become a demon section. If that day comes, it will not only be embarrassing for him, but also for us Sanking. Seeing Yuan Tianzun's uncontrollable anger, Saint Taking shook his head heartily. The teachings follow the direction of heaven, explain the way of heaven, divide all things into 3, 6, or 9 grades, and teach according to talents. The teachings of Zhijiao are the 50-50 Avenue and the 49 Tianyuan. All things have a glimmer of vitality. They emphasize teaching without distinction. Anyone who has a heart for the Tao can join the religion and intercept a glimmer of vitality for all things. The two doctrines were diametrically opposed, dooming the three pure ones to split from the very beginning. In order to bridge the gap between the two brothers, the core of his humanistic teachings is no fighting and let everything take its course. Man follows the earth follows heaven, heaven follows Tao, and Tao follows nature. As a result, the harmony of Sanking could not be maintained in the end. The sage of Shangqing sighed, for the sake of these two brothers, he had given up the majority of people's religion and really tried his best. Thanks to Book Friends Sword 266 for the 100 starting coin reward, thank you very much. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1083. When Su Junming became a saint, the person who was most shocked was not the three pure ones, the second saints of the West, or Nuwa, but the Wu clan. The remaining members of the Wu clan are all too aware of the formation of the 12 capital heavenly gods. They never imagined that one day someone would achieve the holy status through this method. Deep in the underworld, there is a magnificent temple. Above the wide bronze palace door, the 4-character sacred pattern of Hutu temple shines brightly. The main hall, which used to be somewhat deserted, was now filled with people. Moreover, each one of them had a wanton evil spirit, a breath that was threatening, and the appearance of their muscles becoming tangled, which was even more frightening. Especially the 5 people sitting at the front, their auras were even more solemn, like ancient giant beasts lying down, which was obviously extraordinary. They are the remaining great witches of the witch clan who can compare with the Hunyuan celestials after the Lich War. Zhufeng, Xin Tian, Xiangliu, Felian, Yushi. Xin Tian, who was wearing a tiger skin skirt, with bulging muscles and long hair shawl, looked around. Why didn't Ho Yi come? Don't mention that guy. Now he only has that demon clan girl Chang Yi in his heart. There is also our witch clan there. Xiang Lu, the snake-headed man, said angrily. Fei Lian, who had a hot temper, said angrily, Hao Yi is simply a shame to our witch clan. For the sake of a rabbit demon Chang Yi, he did not hesitate to transform into Wu Gang and cut down the laurel tree on the Taiyan star. He did not care about the blood feud of our witch clan. He is really angry. I also. Zhufeng, Xin Tian, Ho Yi's matter is serious, we can't ignore it. Otherwise, people throughout the world will laugh at us. Fei Lian turned around and said. Ho Yi's strength was too strong. The only ones that the entire Wu clan could compare with, except for the dead Quafu, were Zhufeng and Xin Tian. They are all inferior. Therefore, if you want to subdue Ho Yi, Zhufeng and Xin Tian must come forward. The woman sitting in the center, wearing a red phoenix robe and a phoenix crown, suddenly opened her eyes. We'll talk about this later, the Empress is here. The witches were awe-inspiring and looked at the throne in the center of the hall. Silently, a middle-aged woman wearing a khaki robe and a high crown, with a beautiful and holy face and a gentle aura, appeared above. The witches quickly bowed down. See Empress Hutu. After the Lich War, Hotu, who transformed into the underworld, became the only remaining ancestral witch of the witch clan. He also successfully became the leader of the Wu clan. Just get up. Thank you, Empress. The witches took their seats. Zhufeng said directly, My lady, a shocking incident related to my witch clan happened recently in the ancient world. Are you referring to the true lord of Chongshan, Su Junming? Exactly. The person they are fighting against Zunti is our Wu clan's great formation, the 12 capitals of the gods and evil formation. I think the formation diagram of our clan's great formation, as well as the body of our ancestor Wu Emperor Zhang, will definitely fall into his hands. The former is the most precious treasure of our Wu clan, and the latter is the ancestor of our Wu clan. We cannot ignore it. I hope that the Empress will personally come forward to find true Lord Chongshan to resolve this matter. Is this what you mean too? The quiet phoenix eyes were as deep as a deep pool, which made all the witches feel uneasy. The Rain Master said, Your Majesty, we also know that the true Lord of Chongshan, Su Junming, is extremely powerful and is not comparable to that of our witch clan, but after all, he owes our witch clan karma. Go ahead and tell us a story, you don't have to ask for the things back. But it is also good to let him owe a favor and be able to protect the witch clan at the critical moment. The current prehistoric era is the era of saints. Without the suppression of saints, it will never be called powerful. The ancestral witch empress transformed into the netherworld, and her strength greatly increased, but she was still a little short of a saint. I didn't expect that in ancient times, the witch clan, which spanned the vast land and could only be rivaled by the demon clan, would now be reduced to being under the protection of others. Yu Yu's words echoed in the hall. Everyone in the Wu clan bowed their heads after hearing this. But even someone with a strong personality like Xin Tian has to admit that the current Wu clan is no longer as tyrannical as it was in ancient times. There were once hundreds of top witches, but only 6 of them were left. Among them, Ho Yi had buried his head in the Taiyan star and ignored the world. The strength of the Wu clan has declined to an unimaginable level. No matter how proud you are, you have to lower your head in the face of cruel reality. Your Majesty, my witch clan's strength is weakening now. It is best to stay dormant for the time being and restore our strength, Zhifeng said. In addition, when our witch clan was strong, we intermarried with the human race, so many Eastern Baron people have the blood of our witch clan. Therefore, we should leave the netherworld and go to the wilds to find humans with the blood of the witch clan and teach them the cultivation techniques. Guide them to awaken the blood in their bodies. Only in this way can we continue to expand the number of our witch clan. With more people, the number of talents will increase, and the strength of our witch clan will be restored. If we only stay dormant in the netherworld and stay away from the primitive land, we will only become weaker and weaker. What Zhifeng said is exactly what we think. However, if our Wu clan reappears on the mainland, it will inevitably lead to speculation and even obstruction from all parties. If there is true Lord Chongshan to protect us, we can take action. It's more convenient, Xiang Lu said. Well. A long sigh echoed in the hall. The prehistoric continent is a land of right and wrong. Countless people have died in countless battles for hundreds of millions of years. I think our Wu clan was so strong back then that we almost ended up being wiped out. You are the only remaining bones and blood of our witch clan. Why bother getting involved in the ancient world's conflicts? Isn't it better to stay in the netherworld and cultivate peacefully? Don't worry, madam, we have no intention of competing for glory, we just want to restore some of the strength of our witch clan, Xin Tian said. He looked at him deeply. I hope everything goes as you said. There was a pause. I will go to true monarch Chongshan. But I don't know if I can seek his protection. Along with Kinja's words, Ho Tu's figure gradually disappeared. The witches looked at each other. Congratulations, my dear. Under the leadership of Zhifeng, everyone said respectfully. Pavilion in the backyard of Chongshan residence. Several treasures were placed in front of Su Junming. The 12th grade blood lotus, the second sword of Abu Yuantu, and a ball of 3-foot-sized, dark green blood. As the most precious treasures transformed from the 4 great lotus seeds of the chaos green lotus, the 12th grade blood lotus, the 12th grade golden lotus, the 12th grade green lotus, and the 12th grade black lotus are of the same level. They are all 48 innate divine taboos, second only to Kaishan. The top spiritual item of the three treasures. The four lotus terraces have different opportunities. The 12th grade blood lotus fell into the hands of Styx and became the most precious treasure of the Azura clan. The 12th grade golden lotus was given by Hung Jun to guide the Taoist priests, and it became the most precious treasure of Western sects. The 12th grade green lotus has the strongest foundation. A part of it was taken away by Taoist Shangqing, Taoist Yuking, and Taoist Taking, and was refined into the most precious treasure of life. It is also the red flower, white lotus root, and green lotus leaf. The three religions are originally one family, the origin of proverbs. The 12th grade black lotus is one of the 5 ancient saints, Rahu's natal treasure. After the ancient war, it disappeared. It can be said that every lotus platform is a rare treasure that can suppress the fate of a sect. After grabbing it in my hand and looking at it, my heart moved. A short and fat figure wearing a yellow monk's robe appeared on the left side. It is Tiangong Taoist. Why are you calling me? Help me refine 100 furnaces of Hunyuan Tianhuangdan. Taoist Tiangong, who was originally sleepy, jumped up. His stubby fingers pointed tremblingly at Su Junming, his fat face filled with incredible anger. You are squeezing. Su Junming smiled lightly. Don't refuse in a hurry, let's look at the reward first. With a casual throw, the 12th grade blood lotus flew over. After subconsciously catching it, Taoist Tiangong's eyes lit up instantly. 12th grade karma fire red lotus. No, it's not the law of cause and effect. What happened? The round-toed eyes looked straight at Su Junming. Too lazy to explain, I just let go of the memory and shared it with Taoist Tiangong. So, you killed the ancestor of Styx. He is still useful, so he was temporarily sealed. How about this, is the reward for this 12th grade blood lotus enough? Haha, that's enough, of course it's enough. Tiangong Taoist was all smiles. Although his 10th grade Qinglian has nurtured nearly 7 Yuanhui in chaos and has a lot of foundation, it is still 10th grade and has not made a fundamental breakthrough. But if you take the 12th grade blood lotus from the same source to conceive and raise it, although it cannot restore the tyrannical power of the 36th grade chaotic green lotus, but it can also be partially restored. At least much stronger than the 12th-rank lotus platform. In comparison, although it is difficult to practice 100 furnaces of Hunyuan Tianhuangdan, it is nothing. The blood law engraved in the lotus platform remains. Although we do not practice it, there are countless disciples in Chongshan Academy, so it is impossible to use it. Tiangong Taoist nodded. Holding the lotus pad, her mouth opened in joy. Just waiting for the Qinglian to advance, he finally has a Hongmeng treasure in his hand that suppresses luck. The Hongmeng Supreme Treasure is one level stronger than the Hunyuan Lingbao, and the Dian Divine Mirror in Su Junming's hand is of this level. He stretched out his hand to grab it, and the 2 swords of Yuan to Abi fell into his palm. These 2 swords are the combination of innate murderous intent and innate spiritual gold, carrying the innate way of killing. 47 innate spiritual taboos, second only to the 12-level lotus platform. Among the many spiritual treasures that adhere to the way of killing, they are second only to the immortal killing sword formation and the god-killing spear. The power is stronger than the Pangu sword. With these 2 swords, Pangu sword can be retired. After putting it away with satisfaction. Look at the dark green blood next to him. In fact, this mass of blood is the body of Styx. When you press your fingerprints, the gourd of time sheds countless crystal-colored divine light. Return to our roots. Visible to the naked eye, the dark green blood is constantly changing, the aura belonging to the Styx is getting weaker and weaker, and the desolate and vast aura is getting stronger and stronger. This aura, Pangu, Tiangong Taoist asked in surprise. Su Junming's understanding of the Tao of time only reached the realm of Hunyuan Xianxian, so this blood has not completely returned to its original state. But at this stage, the Pangu aura above has become extremely strong. Su Junming slowly gathered his magic power. I didn't expect that the ancestor of Styx was also a descendant of Pangu. Tiangong Taoist nodded slowly, his fingers bleeding. Don't you think this looks like a gallbladder? So, ancestor Styx was transformed by Pangu's gallbladder. Su Junming smiled. The facts are before our eyes. With a pat of the green gourd on his waist, the blank demon flag of Dushan God flew out, and in the process of spreading it, he took in Styx's physical body. Thanks to the book friend Xuoming Xianfang for the 100 starting coin reward, thank you very much.